Hi, this is Esther here, and I am one of the little butterflies, and I work closely with Valerie at the Little Butterfly Wings. And today I just kind of wanted to do a quick tutorial for you on how you can use these sketch elements and actually make them your own by outlining them, filling them in with paint, and then being able to clip different other elements to it, whether it be paint, paper, etc. Some of this I've already kind of done beforehand just to make it easier, but I am going to walk you through the process. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do it just on the cap alone, but I did kind of complete some of this aspects for the bear as well. So to get started, I'm just going to go ahead and hide the goggles. We're going to hide the tag. And here we have the bear sketch and the cap sketch. I'm going to go ahead and hide the bear for now. I will clip paper and stuff to him later, or paint, etc. But I wanted to show you how I actually take these sketch designs and make them my own. Sometimes I really like using them because I can really tailor them to fit the layout and achieve the look that I'm looking for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the hat doodle. You can see it's labeled here. The hat and the bear are from Little Butterfly Wings Snowscape bundle, as well as the mountain and the sled, the mountain sign and the sled. So here is the hat doodle. And the first thing we're going to do is make sure it's selected. And if you see over here on the right hand side, I have that layer selected. I'm going to go down here, and keep in mind that I am using Adobe Photoshop 21. So this could be different depending on what platform you're using. But I'm going to go down here and I'm going to add a layer. And I actually want it to be on top of the cap, just because it makes it easier. Then I'm going to come over here and select the quick lasso tool. Actually not quick, but I'm going to select the lasso tool, and the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of outline this pom-pom. And I'm just going to forewarn you, it does take some practice. I use the mouse on my laptop to do this, the mouse pad I should say, the touch pad. It does take a little bit of practice to get to where your hand is pretty steady. If you have a tablet where you use a pen, that would be the most ideal. Now that I have that selected, I am going to go over here to the brush section. I like to use watercolor brushes when I do this, just because when I apply whatever I'm going to, whether it be color, a paper, a paint, etc., the watercolor aspect kind of gives it some different tones that look a little more realistic to me, but that's a personal preference. So I'm just going to take this watercolor brush here. I'm making sure that it's white, because when I apply whatever I'm going to, I want it to be a pretty true to color. And I'm just going to fill it in. And the reason why I like to use the lasso tool in the beginning and outlining is because, as you can see here, when I'm filling in, even though I'm going over the line, it's not capturing outside of the lassoed area. That's the nice thing about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and just deselect these marching ants. And on a Mac, it's Command D. On a Windows-based platform, that should be Control D. And I'm going to go ahead and hide this layer for now. I'm going to click the cap again over here in my layers. If you look over here on the right, I'm going to add another layer. And what I'm going to do here is do the lasso tool again. I'm actually going to lasso around the heart. I'm not sure what color I want to do the heart yet. That's why I didn't do it with the pom-pom. And now we have the heart lassoed. So we go grab our watercolor brush and we just fill it in. Get rid of my marching ants. I'm going to hide the heart. I'm going to come down to the hat doodle over here on the right, and I'm going to add another layer. Go back to the quick lasso tool, and now I'm going to select the band area. that selected. I'm going to fill that in too. And notice how the color looks if I do one pass. You can kind of see the pink paper bleeding through. If you want a more opaque color, you just go over it again. I mean, you're still going to see the watercolor elements, textures bleeding through, but it's going to make my color more opaque when we clip something to it. Get rid of the marching ants. I'm going to hide that. And the only thing we have left is the actual cap area. So I'm going to select the doodle again, add another layer, and this time we're going to take the lasso tool and we're just going to go and do the cap portion. Sometimes if you hold shift down while you're doing this, it kind of helps. If you need to relieve the pressure a little bit, it kind of holds your space in line, so to speak. Just a little tip there. I'm going to come back to the brush, I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to color it in. I'm not worried about painting over that heart because we'll just layer the heart on top of this cap when we clip stuff to it. Okay, so now we have all this section of the cap finished. What I'm going to do is then come back over here to the right and unhide all of our cap sections. Now, for the sake of this video, I already dropped the papers that I wanted to use over here so that it'd be easier to grab. So for the actual cap, I have this textured paper right here. I'm just going to bring up to the cap section. And I'm layering it. I'm placing the paper layer right over or right on top of the cap layer. And I'm just going to clip it. And then I'm going to go back down here and I'm actually going to duplicate the duplicate this plaid layer because we're going to use the plaid for something else too. And I wanted the band on my cap to be this plaid print. So layer 6 is the band, and I am just gonna clip that to there. And if you don't like the way this plaid line is running, you can then make sure you have the select tool over here or the move tool selected, and make sure the paper is selected on the right, and you can just adjust this to where it's in a position that you like. And the next thing that we're going to work on is our pom-pom and the heart, and I've decided in the course of this that I'm going to make them the same color. So I'm going to drag this bluish teal color up here. I'm going to place it over the heart. Before I clip it, I'm going to duplicate it because I need to use it on the pom-pom as well. And you notice I have the paper just layered above the heart. I just use a clipping mask and I clip this to the heart and the pom-pom. So you can kind of see there. And if I wanted to make the heart a little more vibrant, another option that I could do is just duplicate that, and you can see by me duplicating it, it makes my heart stick out a little bit more there. And I actually want a little more color in the cap as well. So I'm going to come back down here to the paper that I used for the cap, and I'm going to move it around just a little bit so I can pick up more of the texture from the paper so you can see that. And I am going to duplicate that. Now the cap is a little more opaque. And I'm actually going to do the same thing to the band. I want a little more of that plaid element to show through, the colors to be a little more vibrant. So I'm just going to duplicate that so that way that green and that pops a little bit more. Okay, so now we've clipped paper to all these little paint sketches that we made of the doodle. And to kind of give this a cleaned up look, I'm going to come over here and select the hat doodle. And I'm going to move this to where it is lying right on top of everything. So when I do that, it gives us this nice clean outline and a nice fun look. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to color in our bear. So here's the bear. And for the bear body, let's just add all these layers in. Let's get these layers on here. So the first thing that I want to do is give the bear color. So if we come down here, I just brought in the white paper from the Jingle All the Way bundle, and I'm going to use that for the bear color. So I'm going to clip that to the bear layer. And I don't like how light that is, I can already tell you right now, so I'm just going to duplicate that a couple times. And on this pink, it almost gives this bear a gray look. The next thing that we have is the color inside the nose area, and since I've already made this pretty much a girl, I need to bring in one other sheet of paper. We're going to bring in a light pink. Let me select that layer. Bring in a light pink. And I'm going to clip that to the nose area. The next thing we have is the scarf. And I wanted the plaid for the scarf. So I'm just going to bring the plaid up. So make sure I don't go past it. And I'm going to clip that to the scarf. Because of course the bear has to have a scarf that matches its cap. And I'm okay with the way that plaid looks, so I'm not going to do anything with the scarf. What I am going to do though is I'm going to bring our bear outline, the doodle, up, and we are going to drop it right on top of everything else, and there we have this nice bear design that is filled in with papers from the kit of my choice. I'm going to go ahead and add the bear's goggles back in, as well as the tab. And there you have it. That's how I like to use these doodles and customize them to meet my design needs.